We're blessed, so blessed, you're blessed. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. I'm blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Oh, I'm blessed. Going out, coming in, so blessed. Oh, I'm blessed. January, February to December, oh, I'm blessed. King shall come to my rising, for I am favored and graced.
Kampala School for Physically Handicapped was started, we're almost 50 years now. It was started by a group of parents and a few professions and friends, and the parents had children with a disability called cerebral palsy. The actual couple that initiated the idea had two very severe spastic children, the spastic type of cerebral palsy. So their aim was to educate, rehabilitate, and equip children with cerebral palsy so that they can be able to live an ordinary life and probably be able to finally work out their lives and be independent. It has three main departments. We have education, we have rehabilitation, and we have vocation. Now in education, we use the ordinary school curriculum, but addressing the different children's learning disabilities. Rehabilitation deals with most of the learning challenges of children with cerebral palsy. So in rehabilitation, we have speech therapy, we have occupational therapy, we have physiotherapy, and we have other medical aspects. In actual fact, if you don't have rehabilitation department along with education of children with cerebral palsy, then it's hard to address their learning challenges. So their lives, rehabilitation is part and parcel, because the moment you stop certain things in their lives, they either get stuck, retarded about that aspect, or kind of get secondary challenges and disabilities.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Like all schools, we have the lessons. We start our day at 8 in the morning and we end our day at 4 in the afternoon. And we expose the children to all the learning that other children do. For example, we have all the extracurricular activities like music, drama, sports. You see the games, we have chess, we have sitting volleyball. We adapt a lot of our games. We have boccia and all other games. You know, we make sure that every child can play something. For example, at the end of first term, we always have a sports day. And during this sports day, we tell the sports teachers they have to work along with a therapist to make sure every child, no matter however challenged their disability is or severe, they should be able to play some activity, because the mind of a child would always love playing, and they would even learn better by playing. So denying that is actually denying them being a child. You first look at the child and then you look at the disability. The disability just helps you to help this child. You don't name the child by their disability and you look at that. It is a boarding school, so when it's term time, children are at the school. Welfare is one of the children welfare is one of the departments, and in every dormitory we do have a house mother who looks after them. So we train, which is also part of the therapy's work, self-reliance and independence, so that a child can do as many activities, self-help activities as possible. You actually will find that probably some children might be of relatively severe, that the best you can do with them for quite a long time is to improve their self-help skills, which is so important. For example, everybody will feel like being independent if they have to go to the bathroom or if they have to privately help themselves. So it is as important for someone to be helped to develop some of those skills, as it is important for someone to learn in class. If someone cannot get out of their wheelchair to get onto the bed, that is what we call transferring yourself from your wheelchair to the bed, then that means somebody won't be able to go to bed until someone has come to help them. So those are very important things that are trained at the early stage. And those are all what we call self-help skills that are done early enough so that you achieve the best degree of independence around you as much as possible. We have at the moment 186 children, and we do have 42 staff members. We do work with a lot of volunteers. For example, if children are doing physiotherapy, most times it is a one-to-one activity. And if you have around more than 80 children in a school who need to have therapy throughout the term, you will only be able to address a few in a certain time. We actually encourage both Ugandans and people from outside to come and do as much voluntary work as possible, because we can't fill in all those gaps. You'll also find that even in classes, by nature of the learning challenges, one teacher cannot even attend to 20 children by themselves. So you need quite some aides in the classes to work along with that teacher when they are working. It's quite an expensive venture, but it is worthwhile, because if you don't do the interventions that are needed for these particular children, then they will not be finally able to be independent or realize their best. On the other hand, it's been very rewarding, because we've had a number of children who have gone through the school and they've finally been able to be resettled, they've been able to work through professions, and they've been able to become independent, even those who are severe. Our major challenge is the facilities. We have many children on the waiting list that would otherwise be able to admit, but our dormitory facilities are full. Then also other classrooms, some of the classrooms are what would be one classroom partitioned. And when you have children in wheelchairs and what, you need a much bigger classroom for movement and for other space. So we would definitely want to have more children. I mean, our goal, and the people who started the school, is to give these children a chance to be able to work through life, to access education. Because the education they have to access at this stage is a specialized education. You know, I know there's all the good intended ideas of inclusion and integration, but you will find that most of the challenges at this stage need specialists that are not in the ordinary primary school, and it would be unfair to send these children in those schools when the facilities needed to develop themselves are not there. So if you can put the facilities somewhere, help them to first put the foundation, and then you can send them out. Being at the foundation stage of someone's life, you know, primary is the foundation stage. You must provide literally everything that you need. One of the things we are looking at is vocational training. You'll agree with me that you cannot separate a person with disability from skills, because it will always be a challenge to get employment. If I walked in your office and I was in a wheelchair, immediately your mind will think of the many limitations probably around your office. So you will probably consider someone who comes in walking against me because of the limitations you think, but I may be even more competent upstairs. So it's so important that we need to equip these children at that stage so that they can even develop an attitude that will help them to competently and confidently walk into an office, into an interview, and they are able to convince the interviewers that they'll be able to perform. We believe at Kampala School that everybody has abilities, everybody has talents, and that thing in which you are talented you will always be able to excel, because you automatically do it without a lot of struggle. So our job is to train it, to give it the opportunity, to develop it along with them, the rest, the sky is the limit. We are saying she's a child like all children. Make sure that all the potentials and abilities are given a chance to be exercised and to be trained, and then whoever comes next will build on that.